All right, welcome to the podcast. So today we'll explore how one of my favorite people thinks and how they live and what's inspiring them. So a handful of questions, some reflections, kind of like a little portal into how they move through the world. So before we dive in, let me introduce Saskia Wilson-Brown. How are you?
I'm good, Patrick. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just smiling because I feel like I haven't talked to you in so long and it's just great
Been a
to
minute. I know, and it's
see
nice to
you.
see you. We're like usually, yeah, it's cool to like have a video component. So
I'm with you. Yeah, we're trying something new. It's fun. Do you want to share a little bit about yourself to kick us off? What should people know
sure.
about you?
Yeah. So my name's Saskia. I am the founder of the Institute for Art and Olfaction. I'm many things, but today I'm the founder of the Institute for Art and Olfaction, which is a nonprofit here in Los Angeles devoted to experimentation and access in the field of perfume. I am a fan of Patrick, and I'm really happy to be here with you,
So
Patrick.
nice. Fan of you as well. This is great. So all the questions are kind of starting points. We can just flow, like I said, and if anything doesn't feel right, we can just skip it. You told me a little bit about offline what's going on, but for those listening, what does life look like for you right now? What's kind of been taking up most of your energy these days?
Well, other than screaming about the politics and losing sleep, other than that, I've been finishing a book that I've been working on for a couple years. That's going to be coming out in November, and we just finished the final draft. I've been working on it for 2.5 years now, so it's been a slog. And the final draft is done, and I'm super excited about it because it feels like the culmination of a lot of research and thinking by myself and also the people around me, my community. In addition to that,
Congrats.
yeah, thanks. Well,
It's huge.
in November, I'll accept a coffee
Preemptive.
congratulation gift. Yeah. In addition to that, I'm finishing a PhD this year, which is sort of also thematically very tied into the book. It's sort of about culture and perfume's role in culture historically and globally. Running the Institute, working my tail off. We're having the awards in Athens in June. And we're just getting through the biggest part of judging, the round one of judging, which is sort of what's had me running around this week and last week. And
Yeah.
that's like the gist of it.
Other than that, that's plenty.
Yeah,
That's
a
a
lot of other
lot.
small
Wow.
things, but that's the big stuff.
Can you share more about the sort of thesis or the thematic
Sure.
undercurrent of the book? Because I'm obviously
Yeah,
I'm so interested as well in the overlapping Venn diagram of culture and perfume's influence on it and with it.
you nailed it. That's exactly it. So it's tentatively called the cultures, plural of perfume, and it's basically exploring history and human behavior, both serious and very not serious, but through the lens of smells. So the book's broken into 30 something chapters. I can't remember the exact amount. 9 sections with four chapters in each section, and each chapter takes one material and uses that as sort of a springboard to look at the world. So
Mm,
example would be the chapter the seduction, sexuality and seduction section. There's one chapter
mm,
on civet, and we talk both
mm.
about civet but also about malodor, human malodor, and how we've sort
Mm.
of how we relate to our own smells, stuff like that. It's
Oh my God,
super
I
fun, and
can't
it's
wait.
definitely very ADHD. It's like all
This
over the
is
map.
right up my alley. I'm gonna devour it and gift it to everyone I know. I love it.
If you like it, you might not.
I'm sure I will. If you're talking civet and malodor, I'm already intrigued.
What's not to like about civet and malodor?
Next time I'm like hugging my boyfriend and leaning toward his armpit, I'll just be like, read this book. I don't need to explain it anymore. Oh my gosh. Talk a little bit about the awards and judging. I know that's been a huge undertaking.
Yeah,
Folks might not know what goes into that or what you guys do, so it'd be cool to
yeah,
hear the
pretty massive
layperson's.
perspective. Yeah, so the art and olfaction awards are devoted to, I guess highlighting excellence, whatever that means to you. For us, there's all these sort of rules behind how we define excellence. But basically, it's celebrating excellence in indie, artisan, and experimental work with scent. So, what it looks like in brass tacks is we open submissions, we get submissions, little samples of perfume shipped to us from all over the world. Which, by the way, I will just as a side note, has been very rough this year thanks to the tariffs. So we get all those submissions, and then we decant them into blind vials, and that takes a solid couple months from October to December. And then in January we start the judging process, and that means
Hmm.
people are coming in the round one. People are coming to the institute, assessing these perfumes in the blind vials and judging them based on their own characteristic, but also in relation to the creative intent as stated by the perfumer, which is
Mm-hmm.
anonymized as well. So that's where it gets really interesting. Is a perfume might be beautiful and like really lovely, but let's say it evokes like you're sitting on a canal in Amsterdam when you're smelling it, but then the creative intent is like this is meant to be a forest in Siberia, or it just doesn't align. And that's where sort of the technical mastery comes to play. So that's a big factor of the judging. But yeah, it's basically folks at the Institute just smelling and
Yeah. You have
writing first.
some very interesting and esteemed judges usually on this
Yeah.
process. Anyone different this year, or is it sort of the standard brilliant minds that you call on?
We try to bring in new people every year and we cycle people in and out and then bring them back later. Like we have this sort of rotating roster of judges. I think it's like 100 people long now. Everyone's brilliant and wonderful. And what we try to do is we try to find people that are not only really capable of assessing fragrance, which means that they have to know fragrance to a degree, either from a practitioner's perspective or from someone who's been exposed to a lot of perfume. It's really important because otherwise you don't really know what's out there and how to compare it, bigger picture. But then they also have to be ethical human beings. They're not there to be like, "Oh, Joe made this. I love Joe. Let's give it a good score."
Hmm.
Even though it's
Yeah.
anonymized, which protects against that to a degree. So
Hmm.
it's a really
Yeah.
tough selection process. And so we have a very diverse group some of them are perfumers, some of them are writers, some of them we've had designers in the past, but people who just reflect all these different interests, but mainly are ethical.
I feel like with the sort of thumbprint many perfumers have that can be so recognizable, is it difficult to mitigate
Yeah.
that bias even though it's anonymized? Like, how do you, I mean, these are savvy people. I'm sure they can sometimes pick up on some of those kind of
They do.
tells or
And
flags.
they tell us and we recuse them,
Yeah,
but
that's
that's where the
good. That makes
ethics are
sense.
super crucial. I mean, we have them sign off on a code of ethics,
Yeah.
we hope, and I believe that they adhere to it,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
yeah, there's definitely recognition occasionally. And I mean, it just happened yesterday with one of our judges recognized two perfumes. And I'm like, well, can you tell me what you think it is? And she did. And I was like, you're right.
You're out of
And she did.
here.
So out she goes.
That's great. Is there
Yeah.
anything stand out in I don't know, I know you can't talk specifically about the submissions, but like thematically or in terms of like
Thematically?
geography or trends or
Sure.
anything that's like interesting this year that maybe you were
Yeah,
surprised by so far?
sure. Well, one thing I've noticed in the last couple of years is that we serve the world, like it's a very global competition. And every year I track sort of what's coming from Africa, what's coming from Europe, what's coming from Asia, etc. And this year I've noticed a real like
Mm,
ramp up in perfumes being sent from Asia, by which I mean, it's a very big area. But within that, specifically China, like the independent Chinese perfume industry appears to be on the rise, which is really
mm,
cool.
hmm.
The effect of different people or like speakers or public figures or different institutions on the
Hmm.
perfume creation. So a couple years ago, for instance, there's Perfumers World in Thailand, and they've been there for a long time. But we started noticing an uptick in Thai perfumes,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
I, attribute one to more awareness, but also to the impact of Perfumers World on the Thai perfume community. More people are being trained, and more people are launching independent labels. So whatever's
Hmm.
going on in China, like I'm definitely seeing quite a few more submissions.
That's so cool. I feel like Asian perfumery has seen a upsurge in not commercial, but more scale up businesses like nonfiction and denim, like in Korea and Japan. But I don't know a lot of Chinese brands or perfumers, so I'll have to dig in and
Yeah,
learn
well,
more
and
there.
we
It's
don't
really
track
exciting.
mainstream, we just track indies. So mainstream, I
Yeah,
have no idea what's going on, but the indies
yeah.
typically follow the mainstream. If
Hmm.
there's like a big, and my friends in the industry have said that perfume's big in China right now. A lot of the industry is focusing on China, and so the indies are following, and it's really cool. And then of course,
That's awesome.
the themes that are coming are different too. Like for instance, there's a lot of perfumes around desserts that aren't common in North America and Europe, for instance, and so it's
Hmm.
also cool to be like, oh, what are people into? It's sort of like anthropology or tourism, really.
Yeah.
I'm
And
into
how do
that.
the cultures of those like geographic trends follow the larger trends of the perfume industry or diverge from
Or the
it? That's
world at
super cool.
large. Yeah.
Yeah. How fun. I'd love to be a fly on the wall and learn all about all of these submissions, but I'll have to just track the awards and see how things go. At the Institute writ large, you guys do so much interesting programming. Can you share a little bit more about kind of the range of your offerings for folks who might not know?
Yeah. So the awards are one big thing. They take a lot of our time. In addition to that, we have programs like the Experimental Scent Summit, which is an annual meeting of experimental practitioners with scent or thinkers or academics who talk about sort of what they're working on, what they're excited about. So it's sort of like, I don't like TED. I think they're super sellouts, but It's sort of like a TED Talks for perfume. There's that. Then we have programs like the Biennial Scent Week in LA, which is every 2 years because otherwise we go crazy. But it's a 10-day celebration of perfume for Los Angeles. Obviously, again, global, but centered in LA. We have just a whole lot of education increased. Over the years, the education, which was really a small part of the Institute when I started it, is now a massive part of the Institute because people need to learn how to work with scent in order to work experimentally with scent. A lot of work with museums or other organizations to help them make sense of how to incorporate scent into their practice. I mean, there's a lot. I have a podcast, or it used to be a radio show, now it's a podcast that I've put aside for a year, but I'm relaunching.
I remember one year you guys did, I don't know if you're still doing stuff like this. I need to be following the newsletter more closely and come to some of these things because they're always so cool. But one year I remember going to I can't remember the band, but it was like coordinated scents for each sort of arc of their performance. That's right. Band. Yeah. That was really cool. Awesome. Are you doing things like that, sort of more experimental cross media? That's great.
Because actually during COVID, we kind of by necessity couldn't really do stuff like that because, and then when we got back after COVID, it was just such a hunger for education that we're just like scrambling to meet the need. But now that we've settled a little, like I really want to do more of those sort of experimental art things because that's what I'm interested in at the core.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask, is there something coming up in the programming for 26 that you're most excited about or something new?
So I can't keep trying to look at our calendar.
You're like, I'm just trying to get through the judging.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot, but Minetta and Julianne, the co-directors of the Institute, might be like, Saskia. I'm excited about the Experimental Scent Summit. It's in Athens in June.
Yeah. That's so cool.
I'm actually I'm working, quietly right now on the beginning of a program in November in Mexico City called the Pan American Perfume Congress or not Congress, Summit. I don't know what the last word is, but it's going to be 2 days of talks by practitioners from the Americas, Canada, US, Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, all the way down to Argentina, including the Caribbean. And it's going to be 2 days of basically the state of the fragrance space in our hemisphere. So completely decentralized from Europe and anywhere else. And I think that's something that I'm especially excited about right now, especially given what's happening politically. Like it's time to unify.
And that's focused specifically on practitioners, you said, perfumers and folks.
Practitioners, thinkers, harvesters, cultural experts. It's basically just sort of prioritizing voices from these two continents, North and South America, with an emphasis on South America and the Caribbean, because North America right now is.
Yeah. Do you guys integrate with like supply chain and raw materials suppliers on those types of conversations, or is it
I'd
more
like to.
you do?
I'd like to. Yeah,
cool.
I'm producing it in collaboration with two friends, Alejandro Soto and Eduardo Alonso. So, they'll have some voice in that, and I think they're really interested in those questions. So, yeah.
So cool. So I want to pivot and learn a little bit more about how you came to be you. So tell us a little bit, to the extent you're comfortable, about your upbringing. Like, what was it like? What were you like?
I love talking about my upbringing. My dad's Cuban, my mom's English, so both island people. They met in the Bay. My mom's quite a bit older than dad, and she kind of chewed him up and spat him out, and I came as a result of that. But they've always been great friends, and I was raised between the Bay Area and France and Paris. So very multi-culti kind of upbringing, different cultures. And I always felt a little bit like an outsider where, which is something that I think mixed race kids and also bicultural kids can relate to. So I've been reflecting on that more and more because it's actually been super important to me, this sort of sense of being an alien or a tourist in the world, I think was what really at the core led to what founded the Institute, was sort of making space for the aliens in the fragrance industry, But I studied art. Got a master's in art in London and came to LA after that just to visit and just didn't really leave because it was so much warmer than London. And the Institute sort of came out of that.
That's amazing. I really resonate with you talking about that feeling of tapping into your culture and being multi-culti. I'm part Puerto Rican, but I've never really felt like that connected to that identity because my dad's mom was from Añasco in Puerto Rico, but I wasn't really around that part of his family growing up. And so I just feel like I don't have that sense of like an anchor of understanding that part of my identity. And it's become especially interesting now being engaged to and soon to be married to a Chinese person or half Chinese person, and seeing how they really connect to their culture so deeply through food and language. And it's just so ingrained in everything that their family does together. So I've been thinking a lot about that too. I'd love to stay
Yeah.
close with you and learn how you're navigating, what you're trying,
Well,
and yeah,
it's
just
funny. I
noticing
mean,
more.
when people say, "Well, what's your race?" and I'm like,
Yeah.
"But my dad's not white." But I can't claim that because I was raised by my English mother and partially in
Mm,
France. But a lot of folks I've spoken to who are like us, like mixed like that, have this problem. And it typically, I
hmm
think, comes down to what culture the mom was. Typically, that tends to
mm,
be the dominant one. So it sounds like you and me both have our fathers on the
exactly.
Cuban
Yeah.
side.
Although his dad was Irish, hence the Kelly and Patrick Kelly. But
Kelly, oh
so
yes,
I'm a Puerto Rican. I like to
you're
joke,
Puerto
not.
Rican. It's a good quarter.
Yeah. I don't know where it shows up. I'll have to keep watching that. When did you start to
And your
realize
beautiful
like
brown
what?
eyes.
Oh, thank you. And the long eyelashes, I think, come from the Puerto
Yeah.
Rican too. But what were some of the things that you started to notice about like things you were interested in or good at? Like, what was that first realization where you're like, oh, I'm good at X? What was that like growing up?
Well, because I was so between cultures and sort of like was 1 year in SF and then 1 year in Paris and then 2 years in SF and then 6 months in Paris. Like it was really back and forth and alone. My mother stayed in California. My dad was also in California. So I'd be shipped
Mm,
off. I think what I realized at an early age was that I'm very good at adapting to people and to situations and which is good and bad because I can talk to anybody and I can understand anybody's perspective, but sometimes you lose sight of your own points of
mm,
view in that. But I think I'm particularly good at that sort of diplomacy type stuff.
hmm
Not so good at confronting when I disagree because I'm very into like peace and can we all just get
mm.
along? It's very naive, especially in today's climate, but that's just who I am. So it's my special skill and my special flaw.
I hear that. And do you feel like you bring that sort of diplomatic skill set or what's the word? Yeah, I guess aptitude to the work that you do? Does it show
Yeah,
up in your relationships
like
in work,
daily.
it says?
I mean,
Yeah.
the the independent fragrance world is a lot of artists for a very small chunk of pie.
hmm
So there's a lot of conflicts and also geopolitical conflicts. They spill over all the time. And we see this at the awards. An example I'll give is that one finalist a couple years ago. Well, I won't give this example. I don't want to, but let's say someone is from a place that is a contested place, and they want to claim that place as their place, and then the people who are contesting that place have a problem with that. That kind of stuff comes up all the time at the awards, and it's I think that I don't know that I handle it well, but I'm able to handle it in any way because I'm so accustomed to this sort of like being between cultures.
Yeah.
Again, it becomes problematic because you never end up being capable of taking a firm stand, even when you are aligned with your own values and you understand how you feel. I don't know, there's good and bad with it, but diplomacy is, I'd say, a big part of what I do at the Institute.
Yeah. So much of your work, as you just described, is about others. What part of the work that you do feels like it's like most representative of you? These are so deep.
I got him in therapy. Actually, the book does now. The institute itself, especially in the beginning, was kind of an arts practice. It felt like my own. It felt like my artwork. Like
Yeah.
it was a piece of what they called at the time social sculpture or relational art. That's evolved into a whole different thing now. Now it's a nonprofit with directors and. But the
hmm
book has been a place where I've been able to really indulge in my own curiosities and my unexpected love of research and writing,
hmm
which is such a creative process. So the book really felt good in that way.
hmm It's awesome. Cool. You've been in LA how long?
I moved back in 2004 from London, but I travel a ton. Then I spent 2019 in London, so 2004 basically. But I travel a
22
lot.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a
Yeah.
minute.
What's your take on LA these days? Favorite places? Or maybe
Yeah,
it's not great. That's fine too.
no, I
You
love
love it? Oh,
LA. I mean,
good.
I love LA in a way that a Bay Area kid shouldn't, because there's a big rivalry. No, I love LA and I always loved LA. My dad was here when I was a kid, and what I loved about LA was the sort of, in a good way, the sort of populist democratization of the experience of the city. For me, I know some people live on the West Side and they never see a poor person, but my experience of
Yeah.
LA is a very diverse and, you know, obviously multiracial, multicultural place with an emphasis on sort of like, let's just chill out and have a taco, people, like there is this sort of fundamental, it's cool, like there's palm
Mm.
trees, we're good. And I love that about LA. And
What's
I
your
hate
favorite taco?
Favorite taco, and this is going to piss people off. El Flamin' Taco and Sunset and Alvarado at the car wash.
Nice. I haven't tried it. I'll go.
Oh my
Sunset
God.
and Alvarado. Okay.
Ashley Eden Kessler, who's a very classy girl from LA. Also, that's her favorite taco. Just saying.
Some of the best are, yeah, the trucks and at the gas station or at the car wash or wherever. I'm with you.
Yeah,
Are there
El
other
Flamin'
favorite
Kessler.
places you go to like refill your cup or just kind of tune in and have a moment in LA?
Philosophical Research Society
Oh my
Library.
God, so cool.
I know.
It's the
I've been spending a
best.
lot of time there.
Their programming's so cool too.
I know. They're killing it. That one drive through, is it Elysian Park? Near Dodger Stadium. From Highland Park to Chinatown, that's my commute. There's this one drive that
Mm.
has big palm trees. It's a boulevard of palm trees. I go
Mm-hmm.
there and just stare at the palm trees. Sometimes I'll pull over and just sit in the grass.
You live in Highland Park.
Yeah.
Nice. I love it out there. I was there for a couple years. I'm in Silver Lake now, so not too far.
Yeah.
It's great.
Adjacent. We're
Love it. Any other places in LA that you recommend?
okay, PRS. There's a golf course in Los Feliz on Los Feliz Boulevard, and there's this like kind of cheap and cheerful cafe next to the golf course, but it overlooks the green and it
Hmm.
feels really expansive and nice. The food's whatever, but it's a really cool place to hang out. You can sit in the sun. Oh, there's so many places. Did I mention El Flamin' Taco? Because that's my one of it.
I might prioritize that today. I don't have any
Yeah,
lunch plans yet, so it's not too far.
really good.
On your career, do you feel like this path you've taken has shaped your like non-professional relationships in any ways?
You mean
In terms of
the
like
sort of
who you're around and how you show up and with whom?
yeah, I mean, I definitely have met a lot of amazing people through the Institute. And so a lot of my close friends now I can trace to the Institute, but not all. I'm actually very careful to create personal and professional boundaries. Like my Instagram was private until recently, like because, within my work, I have a fairly, not public, I don't want to overstate it, but people in
You
in
are.
the community know who I am. I've had to be very, very, very careful about creating those boundaries because otherwise it backfires when friendships form and then you're like, they really like me, and then you're like, oh, they're after something, and that's a
Hmm.
bummer. So a lot of my friends are actually from when I worked at Current TV, this TV network years ago, and even before. I have a lot of very old friends, mostly around the world these days, but quite a sizable chunk here in LA too.
That's awesome. Do you think you'll
Yeah.
be in LA forever? Any other
I mean, I
visions
don't know at
of?
this rate, who the hell knows? But I mean, I do love LA. I definitely think I'll always have a foothold here. My dad's here, my mom's in the Bay, so I'm definitely a California. But, I travel a lot and, my PhD is in Ireland, for instance, so I've been spending a lot of time there. So I feel like LA is always going to have a special place. And
Hmm.
if things go well, I'd love to stay here.
That's awesome. Another cultural route I haven't tapped, Ireland, and the most Irish name of all, and never been. So I'll have to pick your brain
Okay,
and
dude, like
get an itinerary
Ireland
together.
and Dublin, man, it's your future.
One very accessible, one not so much, but
One
we'll
not
make it
so much.
happen either
Yeah.
way. Well, is there anything else that you want to convey or something I should have asked you that I did not?
Not that I could think of, but I'm curious about how's it going with you with Ratio and Ritual? Like, what's your hope for this?
Yeah, it's been fun. I don't have a super clear vision other than just having fun. Like I've done
Yeah.
so much work for a specific audience or reason, and this just feels like it's like a nice place to write about things that I'm interested in and feature people that I love and share their stories. So I'm sure as it evolves over time, I'll have a more clear thesis of what it's about. But for now, it's really about finding balance in like a pragmatic, logical, balanced, focused approach to life, and then some moments of levity, of ritual,
Yeah.
like the name implies, which I think I've always kind of conducted my life in that way. So those are kind of the two pillars that I'm anchoring the content strategy in. Beyond that, I'm kind of just throwing darts and seeing what sticks. It's been fun watching the response and seeing what resonates with people. Yeah, so I'm excited that you're a part of
I love
it.
your emails.
Thank
What
you.
I love about your emails is they're written from a very human. I'm like, oh, Patrick's writing this, like this is.
Yeah.
But also, the recommendations you're making are like pretty good recommendations
Good. I'm glad you
for
think
my
so.
like lifestyle guru.
Ooh, I'm into that. I'm always like, are people? I can see what people are clicking on, so I'm like, I guess people are liking this, but I'm like, part of me is like, does anyone care that I'm saying what skincare to use and what books to
I care
read? I
very
guess
much.
so.
As a
Oh, good.
47-year-old woman, please keep the skincare coming. Yes,
Yeah. I mean, a part of me is like, pick a lane. Like, am I film? Am I fragrance?
I
But
think you're
I just
everything.
want to share this lifestyle.
Yeah,
What do I
I mean, we
love?
don't
What's
live
going
in
on
one
out
lane,
there?
Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I run a perfume thing doesn't mean that's all I care about. I mean, certainly it's not, thank God. I don't know. I think what I like about your newsletter is it sort of appeals to the complexity of our curiosities. Yeah.
That's so well put. Okay, I'm gonna steal that phrase if you don't mind and put it on the about page. Exactly. Appeal to the complexity
Thank
of
you.
your curiosity. I love it. Well, I'd love to have a proper tea and
Yeah.
catch up and do a walk, maybe try the flamin' tacos.
Yeah. Always down for some tacos.
Yay. Well, it's so good to see you. I can't wait to watch how the awards and the rest of the programming transpires and fleshes out this year. And just appreciate you again taking the time and sharing your wisdom. I think you're such a fun, kind, and generous person. So it's great to catch up.
Thanks, Patrick, and it's a delight and a pleasure.
Amazing. Well, I'll see you soon, Saskia.
See you
Thank you
soon,
so
dear.
much.
Have a great day.
See you. You too. Bye.